I've talked about Xbox Game Pass quite a bit on this channel for a couple of different reasons. One, I just think it's actually a really good deal. And if you play video games, but you don't want to keep buying $60 games or $40 games over and over, getting Game Pass makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of good stuff there. But also, if you're just a Microsoft fan, if you're a user of a Surface Duo or something like that, Game Pass makes a ton of sense because you can stream games to your phone. You can kind of pick it up there, leave it there, play it on your computer, play it on your console. It's a really cool, really good thing. And Sony has just now finally sort of responded to Microsoft with Xbox Game Pass. So they've now got their own sort of Game Pass competitor, sort of. So right now in this video, we're going to break down Game Pass, what it offers, and Sony's new offering. And we're going to compare and contrast and see which game subscription service comes out on top. So let's start with what is new first. Going to the PlayStation blog here. PlayStation Plus Essential. It is going to run you $9.99 a month, $25 quarterly, or $60 yearly. You can see how this breaks down in other regions. They're highlighted on your screen. And the benefits of this are as follows. Provides the same benefits as PlayStation Plus members today are already getting, which is first 2 monthly downloadable games. This is something that Sony has been doing with their PlayStation devices for a long time. Every month you get 2 games that you can just go in and redeem and download. They're in your library. As long as you have Plus, you have access to those games. I still have dozens of games from when I was a big PlayStation gamer that I never even tried. So that's a cool benefit just to have these things. Discounts on certain things. So, sales will go a little bit deeper on PlayStation Plus. Cloud storage for saved games. That's a great thing to have. And then online multiplayer. So for $9.99, that's pretty much exactly what you've already been doing. They're just now rebranding it PlayStation Plus Essential. So now if you bump up to PlayStation Plus Extra, which is now $15 a month, $39.99 quarterly, or $99.99 yearly. So the longer you subscribe for, the cheaper it is going to get. You get all that stuff, plus a catalog of up to 400 of the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games. Includes blockbuster hits from our PlayStation Studios catalog and third-party partners. Games in Extra tier are downloadable for play. And right now, as of recording this video, we don't know what these games are going to be. There's only been a handful that have been officially announced. These include Death Stranding, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, as well as Miles Morales, Mortal Kombat 11, and Returnal. And I'm sure tons more games are going to be added to this as time goes by. And this is probably sounding very similar to what Xbox does with Game Pass. But the biggest difference here is that Sony is not committing to bringing their first party, their biggest games to PlayStation Plus Extra day and day, as Microsoft does with their games. So when Microsoft Studios makes a big game like Halo, that game comes out, you can buy it, or you can play it on Xbox Game Pass the same day. And that is a really big deal. And Sony just isn't going to attempt to replicate that with their PlayStation Plus Extra. Let's move on to the last tier though, quickly. PlayStation Plus Premium. So you get all of that other stuff, but now for $17.99 a month, $50 quarterly, or $120 yearly, you're going to be adding an additional 340 games, which are PS3 games via cloud streaming. So that's interesting. A cool way to do backwards compatibility. They've kind of been offering this with PlayStation Now already. That's going to kind of just roll now into PlayStation Plus Premium. You also get a catalog of beloved classic games in streaming and downloading options, PlayStation, PS2, and PSP. So you get a bunch of retro games, essentially. And I know that it hurts my feelings to say that PS3 is retro, but it kind of is now in a weird way. And interestingly enough, customers can stream games using PS4, PS5, and PC. So basically, this just is PlayStation Now. If PlayStation Now was a thing in your country, this will be a thing in your country as well. Time-limiting game trials will also be offered at this tier, so you can try out games before you buy them. And just to kind of close the loop on this, let's look here at what you get for Game Pass. So $10 a month gets you Xbox Game Pass for console. You play over 100 high-quality games that are there in that list. And there's a lot of really good games in there. New games added all the time. Xbox Game Studio titles, same day as release. That is a big deal. Then if you're a PC person, you can do the PC version, which is the exact same thing. But the games are slightly different because if it's a console game with no PC version, well, you're not going to have that. And then, of course, vice versa. But it's a really good list as well. And then for $15 a month, you get all of that, except now you also get the ability to stream games either to your PC, to your mobile phone, and that is a really cool thing to have as well, in addition to exclusive member discounts and deals, very similar to PlayStation Plus, free perks including in-game and partner offers. It also includes a library from EA Play, so things like Madden and FIFA are in some ways included in this, and then Xbox Live Gold is also kind of built into this ultimate version as well. So at the end of the day, they're more similar than they are different. But there are some differences, so let's go over these. So on the Sony side of things, they are promising that total, if you get the fully maxed out version of this subscription, eventually they're going to have over 700 games. And some of these are current games, some of these are PSP games or PS3 games or PlayStation, PS2 games, but total, over 700 games. And again, because they're going back in time quite a bit, that does bolster their offering quite a bit. Now, this is supposed to launch in June. Don't expect 700 games in June. They're going to have to ramp up to this a little bit over time, but I do expect when it launches for there to already be more games than you have on Xbox Game Pass, which has about 100 titles currently available. So, in terms of the number of games, PlayStation probably is going to have an advantage there. But a huge place, like I've mentioned, that Xbox Game Pass has a big advantage is with day one releases. In 2021, Game Pass got Halo day one, Forza day one, and many others on top of that. Back 4 Blood was a game that we got day one. In the future, Bethesda games. Think about when the next Elder Scroll game comes out, and that is day and date on Game Pass. How many people are going to subscribe to Game Pass just to play that game? Why wouldn't you? It's a better deal. It's cheaper than buying the game. Now, over time, sure, it's not. But in that first upfront thing, right, you're just going to spend $15 maximum to play the new Elder Scrolls game when it comes out. And then you're going to see how many other games you actually now have access to. I think the biggest thing to keep in mind here, though, is that now, I don't think either one of these are really going to make someone jump ship. If you're an Xbox person, if you're a Microsoft person, either you game on a Windows PC like myself, you're going to get Game Pass. I have no reason to get PlayStation Plus Premium or whatever it is that they're calling it. There's just no reason for me to buy it. It doesn't really work for me. Game Pass gives me PC games. It lets me stream games to my phone should I want to do that. So that's the one I'm going to get. If I'm a PlayStation user, Game Pass does nothing for you. It doesn't really matter. So you're going to get PlayStation Plus Premium. And honestly, if you're already spending $10 a month for PlayStation Plus, of course you're going to do PlayStation Plus Extra. Here's another $5 a month to get 400 games. That's a phenomenally good deal. And at the end of the day, that's really the big point here, is that these are both great deals for everyone. If you're an Xbox gamer and you already are paying for Xbox Live Gold, of course you're going to get Ultimate. Why wouldn't you? It's free games, effectively. You're already paying. Just pay that little bit more, and there's your free games. So at the end of the day, I think whatever ecosystem you're invested in, you now have a really good option to get a ton of games for effectively no money. And I think that is a win-win for everyone. In the argument of which is better, Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus Premium, it's going to come down to where you're playing, because it's going to be the best one for you wherever you are. Now, if you can ask me to determine which one is the better value, it's almost impossible to answer that question, because Plus has more games. But then if you look at the day one releases on Game Pass, to me, I think that they're really similar. And then you factor in the streaming to your phone and things like that. I think that they're different enough, but they're also similar enough that this is, to me, a bit of a wash. And I'm just happy that everyone now has something like Xbox Game Pass. I think that this is really good. I do wish that Sony would maybe release some of their big games on day one. They put out an excuse about why they wouldn't do this. They said something about how they have a virtuous cycle of investment with their partners and with their studios, and that would be derailed by releasing stuff day one. I think that is absolutely unequivocally false, and that's just them admitting that they don't want to do effectively a loss leader where you sacrifice some of your short-term profit for long-term profit. And I get that. I get why they wouldn't necessarily want to do what Microsoft is doing. Microsoft has a ton of money to be able to do that sort of thing. But at any rate, both options look very, very good. Guys, thanks for making it to the end of today's video. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friend.